What's up, guys?
All right. Hello, all you people out there. I'm Bwett,
I'm Oracle.
and this is TLOC Talk. We have our coffee with each other.
yeah,
Oh
coffee.
yeah. Let me grab this guy.
See, I planned ahead, and I brought a little end table so I can put my coffee over here.
I didn't plan at all, and I'm paying the price for it. So this episode of TLOC Talk, we are a little bit more casual. We're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah. We're just going to talk.
TLOC, yeah.
Yeah, that is where we are.
But yeah. So how's your week been so far?
Week's been good. Had a day off yesterday, which was awesome, as always. So I just
Columbus Day, right?
Yeah. So I got around. I took Dustin's or Denty's DS and just unlocked custom moves for all the characters.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Yeah, because I don't actually own a 3DS or Smash 4 because that would be too much money for someone who works only part-time.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
So I'm just bumming off of Denty. I'm so lucky that he has the Japanese one and the American one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd just be a tournament. It's like, hey, I got a match. Can somebody let me borrow their 3DS?
Please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So today our conversation is the mindset of the noob, and we aren't talking about noob in a negative connotation, but more so a noob in terms of understanding of any of the Smash games, and
Or really any fighting game.
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
some aspects of the noob or like noobism, I guess you could call it. Yeah,
noobism.
I mean that you can see traces of that go further, not just in like video games, but to real
just
life.
any kind of competitive mindset where you lose something.
Yeah,
Yep.
anything.
Yep. So
So let's talk about what's a noob first of all, besides something that I get called on Xbox Live all the time.
So a noob for and we're not talking about noobus. A noob is someone who either doesn't understand the environment that they're dealing with, a competitive game. It doesn't understand that. They don't understand the competitive mindset. What else? And just someone that whines. I'm going to say someone that whines.
Yeah. That's, I mean, so if you read David Serlin's Play to Win, he has, I don't have it with me right now, but he has a definition for a noob. He talks, well, maybe not like a definition, but he talks about the difference between a noob.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, a noob is somebody who's going to complain that you're a throw spammer when you throw them 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
In Street Fighter. But if you get thrown, you know, if the throws keep working, why would I not throw you 6 times in a row?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I guess
broken.
Yeah. That's sort of the definition, or that's the basis of what a noob is someone who's not, they're not there 100% to win, and when they don't win, well, I guess they're not there 100% to win, but they think they do.
Yeah.
They think they are.
Yeah. And they just a lot of times whenever people start playing games competitively, they this was me in the beginning.
Oh, it was me too.
Yeah. You just do not critically think about what you're doing. You get really salty whenever you lose, you get really happy whenever you win, but whenever you lose, you get that fear of like going back and seeing why you lost. And sometimes you don't even think about it. You just sort of brush it under the rug of, oh, that's Ivysaur, you know.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that's sort of a general sense, and we're going to be talking. This is mostly an impromptu conversation. We haven't prepared anything. We're just going to have a conversation.
We are
about
very professional.
Yeah, we're going to have a conversation about what is the mindset and how you can get through it and become a better player.
So yeah. Okay, so here's something that I was telling Bwett earlier is, so have you ever been to a tournament and you're talking to your friends, you know, they're not the best players in the world, but they're decent, and they're talking about their most recent game with the local god. So they're saying they're playing, let's say it's somebody who's playing Sethlon, and they're like, Oh man, today I did so good. I got Sethlon to his second stock.
Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah, I was like,
good job, man.
I didn't get four. I almost got 4 stock, but then I took 2 stocks from Sethlon.
Yeah.
Or it might come in the form as like, well, he beat me, but I took a game off of him. I did okay.
Yeah.
So people who
that means something.
Yeah.
Just not money.
Well, here's the tricky part: is that it does mean something.
Yeah.
If you didn't take a game off of Sethlon the last time you played, and this time you took a game off, chances are you've improved, which is good.
Yeah, very good.
But the reason that you see this with noobs, with people who don't improve, who sort of, cause they really just need that. They cling to that because they can't deal with the idea that they aren't as good as they think they are in their head. So they cling to the small victories and ignore the big ones, or ignore the big picture, the big failures.
Yeah.
Whereas a competitive, the champion's mindset is sort of the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, not to brag, but when I was in top 8 at Apex, I took a game off of Rolex, and the people were telling me anytime after I lose, someone is like, "Those were some great games, man." Even if it was down to the wire, I say no because I didn't win.
Yeah.
To me, it's not enough unless I win. It's not a good game unless I, even if I put forth my fullest effort. Because if I put forth everything and lose, that means I still have room to go. It's not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, and a lot of people, it's really hard for them to put everything on the line like that. Yeah, and to come up as what they see as a failure, like they failed and they put their all in. And I think a lot of that is just it's not really that you're failing. It's more so that it's now time to learn from your mistakes. You now have an experience to learn from.
Yeah. Ooh, before I forget. Talking about failures. Okay. So one of the biggest steps, if you're trying to get good at anything, one of the biggest steps is accepting, not saying or admitting, is accepting that you are bad.
Yeah.
At whatever it is you're trying to get good at. And this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And the reason I bring this up is another thing that you see a lot of noobs do is they'll like belittle themselves. They'll be like, "Yeah, I'm bad. I suck," or whatever. But they haven't really accepted it. They're saying that to pretend like they have accepted it. So I see this with bad players all the time. You'll usually see it when they still get defensive when people talk about them being bad. Like they'll talk about themselves being bad, but then it's like,
an excuse.
Man, I suck. And then you're like, "Yeah, you're garbage." And then I would say, "Well, I'm not that bad. I took 2 stocks off of Sethlon."
Yeah. I played against Luck earlier in friendlies, and I totally took a game off of him. Oh,
that's the worst. That is the worst thing. The worst thing anyone can do is that's just another symptom of the new problem that we talked about. But this is worse when you play friendlies with somebody and they start like, maybe they're not even trying to brag, but it's like to them it just becomes important.
Yeah,
it was like, man, I took a game off of him in friendlies.
Yeah,
man, I got him the last stock. I was doing pretty good. not to brag. I was doing pretty good. I got him the last stock. I took a game. I've only, Lovage, the melee player, the really good Fox.
Okay.
I've only played him once, and I beat him, and it was awesome.
Oh, you must be really good at melee.
Yeah. This was when I was horrible. But, like, the way, I don't tell anybody that. People, there's lots of players you'll meet that will brag that if they had beaten Lovage in a game, in the only game they've ever played Lovage, the first time, they would brag about that. But I've told like nobody this just because, it's a friendly.
It doesn't mean much. Yeah, there's nothing on the line.
I beat his secondary Falco with Luigi on my best stage. I mean, it was good. I was proud of that. But at the end of the day, Lovage is still a better player.
So what Oracle I mentioned before was David Sirlin, Sirlin. He made
not David Sirloin.
Yeah, not Sirloin.
Sirloin.
You can go. I think it's sirlin.net, and he has Playing to Win. If you want to be competitive in anything, in absolutely anything, it could be tennis, it could be fighting games, it could be freaking chess. It doesn't matter. Go out and freaking read it. It's online, it's free, and it will improve your mindset as a competitor in anything, and it's phenomenal. Sethlon's read it. I've read most of it.
Everyone who lives in this house has read that at least.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really important. And so what are some other pitfalls that noobs make in tournaments? Let's say they are playing a tournament match.
Okay. So in the YouTube, I'll link this in the description. There's a really great article. You might have read it in the Magic community about something called a Bruce. Have you read the Bruce article?
I think I've heard the term. I may have. You need to remind me.
So the Bruce is essentially how some people, I mean most people, have an inherent need to lose. I know it's really confusing at first, but people just have this deep-seated, like, it's like past a desire. It's like a physical need to lose at things. And he talked about his friend Bruce, who would just gamble and always lose, and he would continue gambling even when he knew he was going to lose.
Okay.
And you see people like that. And one of the ways that it manifests one of the ways it manifests is that people always need an excuse. So when they have a need to lose, it's because to them, you might not know why you lose, but if you know you're going to lose, you can always have like an excuse prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see people do that. You'll see somebody game 5 in a close set switch off of their main to a secondary, not warmed up, and get trashed.
Yeah.
And then after the match, they're like, well, I should have stuck with my main. So now they have the excuse.
Yep.
That's the Bruce.
Yep.
That's something that I see a lot of new players do. When I played Yu-Gi-Oh, it was something that I was horrible at. I would play I swap characters, and just like I swap characters in all the Smash games, I swap decks in Yu-Gi-Oh constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I had good fundamentals, so I could.
Sure.
But then I would play a deck for like a month, and I randomly get the opportunity to go to a regional or something, and then I'm just like a week before, I'm like,
oh, you tried to metagame a week. I have a friend who does that with Magic. He's a really, really smart player, and freaking one time it was a day before. He's like, I'm just going to freaking brew up my own deck, even though I've been practicing a deck for a really long time. Night before, brew up his own concoction, go 0-and-out.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that.
Yeah.
I play Worm. For those that played Yu-Gi-Oh, I played Worms when they were good.
Yeah.
And then just literally days before the event, I was like, I'm going to play Six Samurai. I've never played this deck. It looks fun.
Yeah, and then, he would come back from the event. He would be like, well, I shouldn't have done that. That taught me. And then he would just do it again.
Yeah.
So
people, in the noob's mind, it's more important to have a reason for everything.
Yep.
Because, so let's say in my scenario, if I don't switch to Six Samurai and I continue playing the Worm deck and I lose, I'm not going to know why.
And also there's a deep-seated fear that it's not because they don't have an excuse. That it could be just flat out they're bad.
Yeah.
And accepting that is hard.
It is hard. And so if you can sort of circumvent that as a noob by creating places for yourself to lose, creating pitfalls for yourself so you always have an excuse, so you can always explain it. Because being able to explain why you lost is more important than winning.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's partially just a weird desire to just like make things right, or just like always have a solid reason. And part of it is the fear of just admitting that you're bad.
Yeah.
So I had a like pretty bad mindset when I started playing Smash, and like competitive stuff in general. Like I was good at a lot of games, sort of.
So now let's dig a little bit deeper and let's talk about
my story.
Oh, are you in the middle? Okay, go. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was the beginning of a story.
That was the beginning. Yeah,
I thought that was the end of one.
So like
Keep
in
going.
the beginning, so I didn't have a great mindset when I came into Smash, because I fell to all those pitfalls where it was just like, oh well, I'm bad. I'm not really bad.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm saying it's like, no, I'm not really that bad, even though I'm telling people that I'm bad. But I learned to play Smash against Sethlon. So for those of you that don't know Sethlon, he's actually physically incapable of sandbagging.
Truth.
Yeah. One time he gave somebody a seizure. That's a real, true story. Just a random, he was playing, and he just down aired him 5 times in a row, and the dude started convulsing. He was at Apex. This happened. Ask about it. Ask Sethlon about it.
He pulls out a strobe light
Yeah.
while he's playing. The
He's
ultimate competitor mindset.
The paramedics are there. He's just dancing with his strobe light. But anyways, he goes hard. He goes hard in the paint. He doesn't know how to hold back. And there was a point in my life in early 2012 where I learned to get good at Smash by going to Sethlon's and just playing him for like 4 hours a day, like 2 or 3 times a week. I did that for...
I remember that.
Yeah, more than probably like 6 or 7 months straight until it... Actually, probably more than that. Like almost a full year of that. So I didn't get to tell myself I was bad. You know, I got to feel it.
Yeah.
I got to feel the badness firsthand.
Yep.
It's like, wow, I have so much to go. I can see every time I get a little bit closer, he just like pulls something out. He just adapts faster, and I lose even harder.
Yep.
And so because I was shown my own inadequacies, I was forced to accept them, as opposed to like trying to just do it on my own, which is, I always attribute that to the reason that I'm so good at Smash today. I don't think I would be that good. I'd still be a random if I didn't have those training sessions. And it's not even about like learning stuff from Sethlon, because no offense to Sethlon, he's not the greatest teacher.
He a lot of the stuff, it's all in his head. It's just
it's hard to express.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of people like that.
Yep.
Everybody's had a college professor who's the smartest guy in the world who's just awful at teaching.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's not actively teaching me things. It's just more important for me to accept my badness by continuing to play Sethlon, and then
let the badness flow through you, Skywalker. Join the bad side.
the bad side. Oh man, but yeah, so that was one of the ways that I got over my, the big noob hurdle of accepting that you're truly bad.
Every good player that you have ever seen on a stream, that you have ever seen in tournament played against, has always gone through their own, essentially, hell, becoming good. Because it is, truthfully, is painful to go through that process. I went through that process over the past 6 months to a year of just accepting the fact that, like, a lot of the stuff that I did was very reliant on tech skill, and I didn't understand the game as well as I could have. And whenever I played Squirtle, and so Squirtle was sort of my you don't really play Smash with Squirtle in PM. We're talking about PM here. You don't really play Smash with Squirtle. Squirtle sort of plays his own game, and so my fundamentals were terrible. And so whenever I switched over to Sheik, which is a completely fundamental-based character, and if you have bad fundamentals, you just flat out lose, then playing that kind of character will truly show you what kind of skill level you're at and force you to accept that.
Yeah.
And that's actually one way that you can improve, is by choosing a truly fundamental character of any particular game, and using that character. And Sheik is a perfect example in Melee and in PM.
Yeah.
Just very, very strong.
Yeah,
fundamentals.
hard to use in both of those games. The payout you get is very high, but definitely just a really difficult. You don't get anything for free.
Yeah,
That's
no free wins.
So that leads me to 2 more noob pitfalls. I'll talk about one right now. The first one is, I don't know why you reminded me of this, but you'll get lots of players who will just focus on one thing that they're good at, one thing that they're really good at.
Yeah.
And then they sort of base their idea of the game off of what that is. So in their mind, they're better. I was a victim of this. I was a
Poor you.
I was a perpetrator of this.
Yeah.
Because playing UTD Zach and Sethlon got me really good. Playing those two and playing really good Yu-Gi-Oh players made me really good at reading people. And then I started to focus in on reading people. And reading people is really important.
Yeah.
I still think that's the skill that separates the top players from the good players.
Yeah.
But at the end of there's like so many more skills. And once I got like really good at reading people, I would just try to read harder to win, you know?
Read in between the lines.
That's what it was.
There's nothing there, Rob. Give it up.
Sometimes it doesn't matter if I know that Dente's going to bouncing fish off stage at me. It's not punishable.
Yeah. So we're talking about Smash 4 there. Sheik's down B is the bouncing fish.
Yeah.
Very, very safe move.
Well, really, it's her recovery that makes it safe.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so other characters would be easier to punish because you go deep off stage. But, I mean, for me, I was just focusing on reading. Since that's such a difficult skill, something that can't be taught, you really see it much more often with tech skill.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, like a specific technique. Or, you know, when I played Melee, I did this with tech skill because my Luigi, when I played Melee, had better, like, tech, and I had better movement than basically every good Luigi.
Yep.
But my ability to win was just so garbage.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I actually played Fox. I played Fox in Melee whenever I was super bad, and I would just focus on tech skill.
Yeah.
But the problem was that I never thought about my game as I was playing it. I would just be like, okay, now it's time to go in with an air shine. Oh, I got hit.
Yeah.
Okay, new strategy. Let's go in with an air shine. Oh.
Yeah.
I have a new strat this time.
Oh, brace yourselves. Hold on for this one.
Completely new.
Bear with me. We're going to nair, and then we're going to press down B.
I obviously didn't do the nair shine properly. I just need to focus a little bit more on it.
Yeah, that's what you'll hear people say.
Yeah.
People who really think that they know why they lost,
Yep.
they don't know why they lost. And they're saying that because they don't know why they lost.
And that's why I actually thought it was like I'm just not doing my nair shine properly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So that's something to look out for. And
You just the only important skill is being good at winning. That is the only skill
It's
that
true.
matters. Whatever,
and maybe being nice.
Huh?
Being nice to your community.
No. It's not going to help you win.
Well, yeah, but don't be a douche.
Oh yeah. I mean, like play to win, but at the same time don't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't be that guy. Else then people won't enter a tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm looking at you
Yeah.
douches.
yeah, douches.
Not viewers. Not y'all aren't douches though.
Yeah, we're looking at you douches. They're all over there.
Yeah. By the vacuum. Freaking vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Garbage. So you said 2. Was there another one?
There was, and I will probably remember it later.
Okay, cool.
What did we talk about before I said that? You were saying something. You were talking about Sheik and Squirtle.
Oh yeah. We were talking.
I'm trying to think.
I'll let you think about that, and I'm going to continue on. So those are a lot of pitfalls, right? About things that noobs think about. Now, let's talk about specifically inside of a game, right? You're talking about in the game, you are facing a player, and this is where emotions run high, right? So let's say that I'm playing against Ethlon, Right. And we're just going to do Sethlon because Sethlon's the resident expert.
Because you all know who Sethlon
Yeah,
is.
and you, a lot of you probably have experienced the pain of playing against him.
The pain.
Yeah, it's really painful. So whenever I used to play against Sethlon, it's much less now, but it still happens. Whenever I played against Sethlon, I would go in with a positive attitude or sometimes a negative attitude. So that's the first thing. If you're going to go into a tournament set, never have a negative attitude. Never be like, oh, I'm playing against Sethlon. Well, let's go ahead and lose real quick so I can get into losers and then I can play matches and win again.
Yeah.
Whereas...
yeah, don't do that. I've done that before.
Yeah. It's really bad. Assume that... Hey, Boo-Boo, get off there.
Hey, oh, come here, Boo-Boo.
Come on.
Come here.
Or whatever. So assume that you can beat anyone and go in wanting to win, needing and hungering to win, and doing whatever it takes to do so. That's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you're actually in the game, this is where it's going to get really, really hard because momentum is a biatch, and it is going to hurt tremendously whenever you're playing against a really good player because they will grab you and you will feel that pressure.
Yeah.
And you will feel the intense struggle that it is to play against a good player. And it is exhausting. Number one, keeping up with them. Hey, stop.
Oh, just take the... she wants to play fetch.
Oh. Okay, I have a cat.
Yeah, this is the best cat because it plays fetch.
Yeah, my cat plays fetch.
So there's just constantly... There's like just paper balls balled up around the house. I don't know if she just finds those or she's like actually finding trash that she's balling up.
No, she doesn't ball it up. So there are multiple paper balls everywhere because I balled them up. And then if she can't find one, she actually roams around the house and finds a receipt. And then whenever she wants to play, she takes the receipt and she brings it over, puts it by your foot so you can ball it up and then throw it.
Oh, I've never seen her do that.
Yeah.
She always just brings me the ball. I have seen her, like, you'll, like, play fetch with her a couple times, but it's, like, late because, cats are nocturnal, and then you go to bed, and then she's just playing with the ball, and she sees me, and I'm doing something, and she just starts meowing until I go over to her and play fetch. Yeah, she's a great cat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool.
So we're talking about tournament pressure.
Yes. The pressure with emotions and momentum in the game.
Yeah.
It is exhausting keeping your spirits high and keeping your game presence high. Both of those are extremely important to win in a tournament set. And as you move on and you end up having to do 3 out of 5s, it just gets even harder. And at some point, you're going to think in your head, because this happened to me a lot. You're going to think in your head, I am exhausted. I am happy losing here.
Oh, I
used to do that.
I still do that.
Yeah.
But I have developed a way mid-match to just tell that voice to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So no, like actually, like I'll think in my match, I'm just like the Johns will just start happening in my head. So I'll start thinking, oh man, Diddy Kong's stupid. Who cares? I want to go home.
It's really
bad. And then
bad.
mid-match, I'm just like, shut up. Screw that. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I hate Diddy Kong, but I'm going to win so hard. Like, the positive emotions are always better than the negative ones.
Yeah.
You never want to be motivated by a fear of losing. The best players are all motivated by a desire to win.
Yep.
Because losses happen. You just got to accept that. But, you can do, and also you can do well on fear of losing, but you're never going to break to the top. And even if you could break to the top, motivating yourself by being afraid of losing, is that really a life that you would want to live, where every tournament set you are just constantly in fear?
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Don't do that.
Yep. You'll get the jitters.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get the jitters.
Oh man, I've just accept everybody's beating me down. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still, number 4 or number 3. No, I'm number 3. I'm still number 3 on the rankings, regardless of how many times I let just like a random beat me.
Like Crypsis almost beat you.
Yeah. Like, who cares?
Corpses.
Yeah, corpses.
Crisis.
Crisis.
The game genie. But yeah, so we've gone over a lot of the pitfalls. So let's discuss. We've gone over some ways of improving your mindset. Let's go over other ways.
Instead of talking about the pitfalls of the noob's mindset and how to avoid that, now we're going to talk about the champion's mindset, how to get that. And step 1, don't do any of the stuff we said not to do earlier in this video. Don't do that. That's all bad. Anytime you catch yourself doing that, anytime you catch yourself telling somebody you got settled on the last stock, or talking about how good your tech skill is even though you constantly get 17th place, or whatever, you're going to have those thoughts. Everyone does. Think them in your head and then say, nope, that's stupid. I'm a noob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Completely.
So those are the noob thoughts. Everybody has them. You just got to accept that you have them and then just ignore them.
So another one that I take to heart and helps out a lot in the very beginning. Let's say that you're just beginning to get in a game. A lot of people for Smash 4 are like that.
Yeah.
They have just got into Smash and they have no idea where to begin and how to start and how to be good. And this is something that I learned from UTD Zach. And I have she's brought the ball back.
Yep.
And I have accepted it as my mindset. This is what you do. If you want to get good at something, look at what the experts are doing, look at what the champions are doing, and just mimic them as much as you possibly can. And it doesn't even matter if it doesn't make sense. It will make sense in the future. Just mimic it. Go YouTube, watch videos. Like if you want to be good at Magic, watch the pros, see how they hold their cards, see how they make decisions.
Yeah, so the key to being good at Magic, hand shuffling. The faster you can hand shuffle, the better you are at Magic.
And you can also annoy people with that.
Oh my goodness.
I've annoyed a couple people with that.
Did I told you the story about the game store owner that I knew who played Magic. He's like an older dude, so he played Magic like 15 years ago, or I don't know if just like forever ago, basically. And there used to be a rule where you could take people's cards out of their sleeves to inspect them.
Ooh.
So he would play people with like super expensive foiled out decks, and he would just grab the sleeve, take it out of the sleeve, just inspect it, just kind of put it back in the sleeve. He's not being super careful. And his opponents were just like
freaking out
by this.
Yeah, they're freaking out because those are expensive decks, and and some of these people will end up forfeiting because they're like, stop. I'm taking it back. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's just like freaking $10,000 decks.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a side story. It doesn't really. That's not really relevant.
I was wondering. I was like, I don't know how this relates. I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
The competitor mindset, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Magic players will do whatever it takes.
Seriously.
Card game players in general will take every advantage.
And that's something that's really interesting about card game players versus like. Specifically Smash.
Yeah, Smash players definitely have it. Smash players are definitely the worst with it.
They have like like a lot of players feel like there's supposed to be some kind of honor system.
Yeah.
And there isn't. As long as it's within the rule set, there is no honor system. So.
Oh yeah, I mean people complain about Zach looking at their controller.
Oh yeah.
Which is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Because Hungry Box will look at your controller, but he's just like he'll scratch his nose and just take a look down. Zach will just you're going left. Okay, time to go that way.
Yeah.
You know, little Zach does it now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He does it with Marth and Roy. He'll look at your controller to figure out which way to throw you.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's good stuff.
Little Zach is Lunchables for those that don't know.
Mm-hmm. So, what were we talking about? I missed it. Your stupid little story ended up messing up everything. So we were talking about
champion mindsets.
Playing
to win. Well, we were talking about like people thinking there's an honor code and they get mad when you don't play the way that they want you to. Basically, lots of noobs will have. I think this is my other thing that I was talking about earlier. Is that lots of noobs have an idea. They will develop an idea of what the game is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then they just get. It makes them uncomfortable when people play in a way that in their
it breaks that concept.
In their concept of the game should be bad, and then they're good.
The most basic of this would be the concept of edge guarding. That's like whenever you are a complete casual versus someone who wants to move into the competitive mindset. It's like a casual is like, why aren't you just letting me get back to the stage?
I've never played anybody that bad.
I've played I played multiple people like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But it wasn't in tournament setting. It was just like going to a friend's house and they're just friends.
Yeah. Well, I was more thinking about like tech skill. Like people will be like, "Man, Hungrybox sucks. He can't press any buttons. You see Hungrybox Falco? That Falco is terrible. Lost Armada's Younglink. What a scrub." And Hungrybox is just fanning himself with like $10,000 in ones, of course.
Yeah, of course.
He's just like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty bad."
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about mimicking experts.
Yeah, mimic the experts. Do what the good players do. But here's a caveat. Not everyone who's better than you is an expert. Just because someone is better than you doesn't mean everything that they're doing is right.
Correct.
So if you're getting last place, you don't want to mimic the guy who's getting 7th place, even though 7th is a lot better than what you're doing. You want to mimic the guy doing first.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like if you go to YouTube, watch the people that go to nationals and get top 5 or top 8.
Yeah.
Watch those guys. Those are the people to mimic. And it's just like, no, don't. Oracle's garbage.
I got top 8 at
Dude,
2
all you do is
nationals.
play Rob. Rob is like the easiest. You don't even press buttons.
I'm so mad.
All you do is shark. You just swim in the air.
Oh, I love
It's so broken.
Oh, it is great. It's not even that good because the air dash is like slow.
Yeah.
But it just freaks people out when you're like. So I'm at a distance where I can't do anything. So I just jump, just land. Just it's awesome.
So that's one step. That is the first step. Is just mimic the experts. What's another step?
Another step is just think. Anytime you do anything, is you need to think why you made that decision.
Yep.
Don't just do stuff because it works. That will make you a good player. If you can just figure out what works and do it, it won't make you a great player.
Correct.
The great players ask why. It's like, why did I do this? And sort of, not the corollary, but just an additional thing about this is that you need to accept when you get something that you don't deserve.
Correct.
When you forward smash backwards and they roll into it, but you didn't think in your head, I think they're going to roll based on X, X, and X or whatever, then you got lucky. You didn't make a read. That's not a read. A read is when you predict someone. And if you go for stuff like that, I will see so many players just, I used to do this, they'll just go for just random stuff. Just like forward smash backwards.
Yep.
It's like, well, players jump sometimes, so I'm just going to jump and like up smash or something or whatever, and it'll work sometimes. And then
they'll say, "Oh, I read you."
Yeah, that was a read.
Yep. Complete read.
Yeah.
Or they'll do the thing where so let's say you're on the edge, they expect a roll, and so they just forward smash the other way, and then same situation happens. They do it again, and it doesn't hit, and then it happens 5 times, and then on the 6th time it finally hits. I read you. They just do the same thing over and over again until it works.
Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. That's more based on decision making, because something about complicated games and complicated things in general is that you can make a decision and it can work, but you can be wrong about why it worked.
Yep, exactly.
If we want to talk philosophy, we can talk about I forget what the story is, but it's essentially a story that shows that humans don't really know. We don't know why we know things. Mm-hmm. We can know something, and we don't know. We might not understand why, even if we have evidence. Basically, we can't infer causality from correlation.
Yeah.
Which is some complicated stuff. But what you need to know is that you can make a decision. Let's say I make a decision to down smash. The most basic example is someone's shielding. I'm Game & Watch. Game & Watch has a 2-hammer down smash, covers spot dodge and roll. I can down smash because I say, I think he's going to spot dodge or roll. And he messes up his tech skill and rolls into my down smash. So I had an idea. I said, I think he's going to roll or spot dodge, and I'm going to make this decision to punish those options. And it works, but it didn't work for the right reason.
Yep.
And you need to examine that. You need to study when things work because you were right and when you got lucky. And continuously practice the things that the decisions that work out for the right reasons. The decisions that work out that you know why they worked out.
So it's a pretty so that kind of advice is pretty abstract. A very, very strong way that you can actually practice this in your game, and this is specifically related to Smash, is if you ever get touched, if you get hit in any manner, ask yourself, where were you? Why were you there? What decision did you make? And why was it wrong? And what decision could you have done to fix it? If you can do that for every single time that you are at neutral and you are about to enter into a conflict and you lose that conflict, if you keep doing that, you will become such a better player just from that alone.
Yes.
A lot of times, and this is something that I saw in Brawl, is another thing to do is understanding your risk versus reward. So something that I learned in Brawl was I would see Dojo play Meta Knight, and he was one of the best Meta Knights in the world. Whenever he got close to his opponent and they both ended up shielding, in that situation, I would have tried to do something. I would have tried to act it out of my shield and try to make a read. What I would see him do was roll away. He would just roll away. And the reason was, why try to make a read in that situation whenever there is so little to be gained from it?
Yeah.
So you just roll away, put it back into neutral, find a better position, and go from there.
Yep.
And that's really, really important. And this goes on to a very specific point, and something that is actually covered in Serlin's Play to Win, I believe. Yeah, it should be. Is critical points. Critical points in the game. And so critical points in the game are moments in time that specifically swing the favor greatly in your odds. And if you end up hitting every single one of those critical points, you will win, period. And so those critical points are, for instance, you are at 80%, and there is a moment where you can get forward smashed, right?
Yeah.
If you just avoid that critical point of this is a moment where you can get red and lose a stock, you can essentially correlate to if you can possibly lose a stock at this particular moment, that's a critical point, and you should avoid it.
Yeah.
If you can force your opponent in more critical points where they can lose their stocks and minimize the critical points where you can possibly lose your stocks, then you will come out on top because of just from that.
Yeah.
Just from that alone. Really important.
Yeah, very important.
So what else you got for me?
Champion mindset. We talked about being positive. That's really important. Don't be afraid to lose.
Yep.
Just losses happen. Just you need to think. I'll choose somebody that I've lost to, so I don't offend anybody. Or like, I'm trying to think of. I've actually just lost to a random. I lost to somebody who then lost I lost to somebody round 1 who then lost every single match in that tournament. He went 1-2, and his one win was me in Project M when I was 3rd or 2nd in the state.
Yeah.
Like, losses happen. You just gotta accept it and move on. You can't be afraid to lose because then that loss is just going to be devastating because it happens. People lose. Don't be afraid to lose.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And whenever you're in losers, don't feel like you're out of it, because you aren't. If you're in losers bracket, you are still in it, very much so. And a lot of the times, losers bracket's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And you can get to 5th place in losers bracket pretty easy.
My first national, I lost round 2 to Kells, and at this point in my life, I had never played a good Space Animal player ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that Rob versus Space Animals was unwinnable for Space Animals. I thought that I could just back throw to forward air consistently. And Kells did something called a shine stall with Fox. I backed through. He just downbeat. He just held shine, stalled. Yep. It just blew my mind. And I was like,
whoa!
That's what it was like. I was like, you should be dead now. But you're back on stage. You shine spiked me. I'm dead. I'm confused. And he 2-0'd me. He beat me bad.
Yeah.
And like, I had never expected something like that. I expected to do really well at this tournament, and I was just like, I'm in losers round 1.
Yeah.
And then I had like twice as many matches early, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to play. I'm just going to do my best. I'm not going to get salty if I lose. I'm just going to play, do my best, and if it's not enough, it's not enough.
Yep.
And I beat in that losers bracket every player who had ever won or placed top 2 in a tournament in that entire region except for one guy. It was like 7 people.
That's insane.
Yeah. I beat Metroid, who was considered by many to be the best Project M player in the world at that time. I beat Kells again, which was awesome because that one was recorded.
Nice.
Yeah.
As long as you get the ones that are recorded of you winning, that makes you a better player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I almost beat Strong Bad, but I bruised
Strong
it up.
Brad.
Strong
Brad. Man, Brad. He's got the muscles, man.
Yeah, I actually, that was like I destroyed Strong Bad 2 games in a row, and I was just done. You know, it was like, this is my energy for the tournament. I'm going to play Game & Watch. That was the Bruce.
Bruce.
So there was like, that was a big step for me to becoming a top player, but the Bruce still existed because I had Strong Bad at that point totally outclassed. Like, it was clear I could probably not try that hard and still beat him. Like, I beat him bad. It's a combination of just having the right skills and being sort of a bad matchup. And then Strong Bad leaves, and then Oro is like talking trash. He's just like, people are talking about my Rob in the crowd right behind me. They're just like, man, I didn't know you could do all this stuff with Rob. And then Oro is like, yeah, you can win with anybody in this game. Except for Game & Watch. He sucks. That's how I just
he baited you.
He did.
He baited you.
I just look at him like, no, dude, you haven't seen my Game & Watch. And I was actually winning. I was beating Strong Bad with my Game & Watch. And then I did the most perfect bait. I fall down. I double jump. He get up attacks. 9. And then then the Bruce started kicking in. I just didn't care. That was the real moment where the top player stuff ran out and my noob habits kicked back in.
The exhaustion.
Yeah.
The stamina is a real important factor.
Yeah, it's like I was still capable of playing, but I didn't have the champion's mindset at the end of these games because I gave it up. I had accepted that what I had was good enough for me. And that caused me to get 4th at a tournament I could have won. Yeah. And that is probably the last new pitfall we're going to do. Don't accept what you have.
Yeah.
That's sort of why people will do the thing where they're like, oh, I took a game off of Sethlon or whatever. Because they're like, that's what they've accepted. Like, this is who I am. This is good enough for me. A guy who takes a game off of Sethlon. Whatever. Never do that. You are never good enough. There's always a human being in the world who is better than you at what you are trying to do. Yep. So if you don't constantly have the thirst, if you don't constantly, say this is not enough, I need more. You need the greed. You need the hunger. Yep. Without that, you're never going to be top at whatever you want to do.
You need to constantly have the thirst to succeed because every top player has that. And a lot of top players, in the back of their head, for instance, let's talk about Luck. Luck recently has been destroying the top 3.
Yeah.
Right? Very
Except for
strongly.
Denti.
Well, I mean, he's taking him. He's like game 5, like constantly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
more importantly, he's been destroying me and Seth Long.
Yeah. He, traditionally speaking, he is, from the PR standpoint, he is a worse player.
Yes.
And if he went into those games saying, I'm the worst player, let's just give it my best.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm going to take this from you. I'm going to take it from you, and then you can come and get it back from losers.
Yeah.
If you always have that mindset, which I'm sure Luck had that mindset, then you can achieve whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
Anything that you want. If you have the thirst to steal it from other people, I'm not talking about, stealing like your couch or something.
Oh,
I
was.
Or money. Like just flat out pickpocketing someone.
We weren't teaching people how to be good at stealing stuff.
If you have the thirst to just take what you demand as yours, then you're going to lose to other people who do have that thirst.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. At the end of the day, in my set with Strong Bad, I was a better player on almost every single terms of skill in the game, but Strong Bad wanted it more.
Yep.
And that was all it took for him to beat me.
Yep. So, is there anything else we should discuss before we start wrapping things up?
Let's think. I think we've covered about all of it. I mean, in my opinion, the thing that separates a top player from a bad player is humility. It takes humility to admit and accept that you're bad. And
then learn from it.
Yeah, and you'll never become good until you can accept that you're bad. And that's something you see in a lot of top players, and not having, I guess the players who, the more you start going down the results list, the less humble people will be.
Unless you're at the very top. It's the sort of thing where it's like...
Even at the very top, there's tournaments where it's like the top 3 will be super humble about their skills. And then the top, 4 through 8, they're pretty humble, but, they still think they're good. And then just it goes down from there.
Yeah. And whenever you do become a champion, don't be a douche. Because,
that's actually really important.
It really is important. If you look at any competitive thing, anything, if you become the best player, people are going to look at you and they're going to see you as sort of this is what a model player looks like in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are the best player and you are a douche, some people just won't join the community because that's how they foresee all of their interactions to be. So after you, log off, cut down your browser and you become a champion in whatever you want to become a champion in, just remember, don't be a douche and help your community.
That's really just, if you could really just cancel the 10 commandments, it could just be one commandment. Don't be a douche.
Just don't be a douche.
We would all be happy.
Okay. Oh, here's this final one. Okay. So and this is really important. All right. So pay attention. A lot of noobs, whenever they end up going to a tournament or a Smash Fest or any casual gathering or tournament setting, and they are ready to practice, do not start practicing with all the friends that you practice with at any point of the time anyways. Number one, they have the skill level the same as you, right? You can't learn from them because you play them all the time. Number two, whenever you do go out and you want to play against people, always play against someone that is better than you. And if you, a lot of noobs are afraid that they aren't worthy of playing against really good players, and so they won't even ask.
Yeah. A lot of people feel like that's just how it's supposed to be. It's like, well, I'm not supposed to be playing Seth Long friendly, but just ask.
No, screw that. You deserve whatever you are willing to take. So you go up to Seth Long, you go up to Oracle, and you say, hey, I want to play friendlies with you.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, once in a blue moon, there may be a douche in there, and they'll say, no, you're bad. But you don't want to play with that person anyways because they're a douche.
Reminds me of the big house.
Yeah. What happened?
Oh, just some guys were just playing Melee, and I went up. They had a 3-person rotation. I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I get a couple games in? And they were just like, yeah, we've got a 3-person rotation. We don't want any more players. It's like, you guys are awful. Like, those guys are bad human beings.
Yeah.
They should feel bad. They should just throw away their GameCube controllers and just do something else. Just away from me, please. Yeah. And if you're good, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Somebody,
because you used to be him. You used to be the bad person, and someone taught you.
Yeah.
So, if you need to learn, go to those great players and say, hey, I want to play with you. And if you have the perception, please tell me what I'm doing wrong in the process. And a lot of the time, they will, and they will gladly do it. And, sometimes they may be begrudging. Screw them. Just do it anyways.
Yeah.
Play them anyways. If you need a $1 money match to learn whatever you need to learn, you're paying $1 for great information about your game.
Mm-hmm.
So just force it. You deserve it all. Just you gotta reach out and grab it yourself.
Yep.
Can't do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyways, moving on. One little quick announcement, although it is a big announcement before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
We are starting Aftershock. It's going to be a huge tournament series in the Southwest. Essentially, every 4 or so months, we're going to have a big regional.
Yep.
An
Very big.
MLG-ish sized regional.
Mm-hmm.
And that will culminate in a top 16 bracket.
Mm-hmm.
The top 8, or I guess, the first 8 people in that bracket are going to be 1 through 8 on the rankings, on the circuit rankings, through all the circuit tournaments that are held for all the Smash games.
Yep.
And they have to be held in Texas and Oklahoma to count.
Southwest.
Southwest. Yeah. So for the Southwest, any tournament, as long as it follows a set of minimum guidelines, which is essentially you use challenge number 1 and number 2 you list it on Tourney Locator.
Yep.
If you're a TO listening, when you want your tournament to be in the rankings for the circuit, put it on Tourney Locator and send it to one of us, and we will deal with it.
So the way it's going to work, we have our weeklies. Those weeklies will count towards the circuit, a certain number of points. We'll have, and the weeklies will be Melee, PM, and Smash 4. Then we're going to have two monthly series, one for PM and Melee, and another for Smash 4. And then we're going to have our quarterly, every 4 months. We're going to have a very large tournament. So any TO that's added their tournament, you get points from that. Mm-hmm. All these points culminate top 8, get guaranteed into the 16-man bracket.
As well as free entry.
Plus free entry. As well as that, the
other 8 spots will be filled by an open bracket.
Yep.
So the day 1 of the tournament is going to be the last-minute qualifiers. If you weren't top 8, you get put into this bracket, and you try to make it to top 8 of the bracket, and then we, from there, we'll put you into the top 16 bracket the next day.
It's going to be
awesome.
Fantastic. So if you are interested, come to one of our weeklies. If you're a TO, contact me, Oracle, or Infinity. We can talk to you, figure out all the stuff, get it going. But yeah, it's going to be insane. Look out. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun doing it. So I think that just about covers it for the night. About it. Yeah. So this is Bwett.
This is Oracle.
Signing off. Y'all have a great night. We're going to play some Smash 4, beat each other up, custom moveset.
I made a DDD that does 130 damage with an F smash and kills you at 0.
He still can't win, though. So
I won against Austin.
Competitor. Oh, you won against Austin?
It doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
I was just like, turn custom moves on. He started the match, and he didn't see that I put equipment on. And I was just like winning, and he was like, wow, your DDD's pretty good. And then I forward smashed him. He's like, whoa, I did 0. It was great. Equipment's awesome.
Yep. All right, that's the only take you need to take
Yeah.
from here. All right, y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
See ya.
DDD Fords.